Ever feel like you're drowning in information? Constantly trying to absorb everything, but never quite feeling like you're getting that deep understanding you're looking for.
Oh, absolutely. It's a common struggle, especially these days. It's like we're bombarded with information from all sides.
It really is. And if you're the kind of person who loves learning but hates feeling overwhelmed, well, today's deep dive is for you. We're going to explore how to unlimit your mind.
Unlimit your mind. That's a great way to put it. It's about breaking free from those old ways of thinking, those limitations that we might not even realize are holding us back.
Exactly. We'll be looking at how to adjust your mindset, how to really focus your motivation, and some really cool techniques for learning more effectively. It's like finding a shortcut to becoming truly well-informed, really unlocking your potential.
Yeah, it's like leveling up your learning game. And to get there, we'll start by looking at some of the unique challenges we face in this modern digital world. Then, we'll delve into the incredible adaptability of our brains. They're way more powerful than we often give them credit for.
Totally. And then we'll uncover some practical strategies to sharpen your focus and really accelerate your learning. And finally, we'll examine how mindset and motivation are the foundation for, well, achieving what might seem limitless.
It's a pretty exciting journey, actually.
It really is. Okay, so let's dive right in. First up, we're tackling what are being called the 4 Ds. These are like the modern day villains of focus and brain power. And the important thing to remember here is that these aren't like inherent human limitations.
Right, exactly. The relatively new challenges brought on by, well, you guessed it, the digital age. Our grandparents didn't deal with this stuff.
Not at all. So the first D is digital deluge. And this one is just mind-blowing. Get this. We are taking in more information in a single day than someone in the 15th century would have encountered in their entire lifetime.
It's a crazy statistic, right?
Yeah.
But it highlights the sheer volume of information we're constantly processing. And this can lead to what feels like a mental fog, making it hard to think clearly, It can also strain our memory and leave us feeling mentally exhausted. Think about how you feel after hours of screen time.
It's definitely a thing. And that brings us to the second D, which is digital distraction. We are constantly connected. I mean, think about it. Every spare moment, what do? We grab our phones.
It's almost automatic at this point. And what's interesting is how this constant connectivity impacts our real-world relationships. When every downtime moment is filled with our phones, we miss out on those face-to-face interactions that are so important for our well-being, our happiness.
It's true. We're social creatures, even if we're staring at screens all the time. Okay, moving on to D number 3, digital dementia. This is the idea that relying too much on technology can actually weaken our cognitive abilities, especially short-term memory.
Yeah, it's a bit scary when you think about it. If we're always depending on our devices to remember things for us, phone numbers, directions, appointments, those parts of our brains that handle those functions, they kind of get lazy, like an underused muscle.
Like if you never lift weights, your muscles get weak.
Exactly.
So how many phone numbers did you know by heart back in the day compared to now?
Oh, way fewer now, for sure. It's like our brains outsource the work to our phones.
Makes sense. And that leads us to the 4th D, digital deduction. This one's about how, in a world where we can Google anything instantly, we might be overestimating our own knowledge.
It's like we have access to information, but do we really understand it? In the past, we had to rely on our own reasoning, think things through to solve problems. Now, with instant answers at our fingertips, we might not be engaging those critical thinking skills as much.
That's a good point. We might be confusing having information with actually understanding and being able to use it.
Right. It's the difference between knowing facts and being able to think critically and solve problems independently.
The source material also touches on digital depression, how constantly comparing ourselves to others on social media, to those often filtered, perfect online personas, can leave us feeling inadequate. It's a lot to think about.
It is. But the good news is there are things we can do to combat these 4 Ds, to regain control over our attention and our brains.
That is definitely good news. So what can we do? For dealing with digital deluge, one suggestion is to schedule 30 minutes of white space each week.
White space?
Yeah, dedicated time, completely free from technology, no phones, no computers, just time to clear your head and relax.
That sounds almost impossible in today's world. But I get it. It's about giving your brain a break from the constant information overload.
Exactly. And for digital distraction, the advice is simple but powerful. Turn off all those unnecessary notifications. Seriously, you wouldn't believe how much mental noise those little pings and buzzes create.
I actually turned off most of mine a while ago, and it's made a huge difference. It's like reclaiming your attention.
It's so true. And for digital dementia, the tip is to try memorizing a phone number you use regularly. A small step, but it helps exercise those short-term memory muscles.
Like doing brain push-ups.
And to counter digital deduction, the suggestion is to try making a decision without consulting any digital devices. It forces you to think for yourself, rely on your own reasoning.
Like a digital detox for your decision-making.
I like that. Okay, so we've covered some of the challenges. Now let's switch gears and talk about the amazing potential of our brains, starting with neuroplasticity. This is the idea that our brains can actually change and grow throughout our lives.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. It means our brains aren't fixed. They're constantly rewiring themselves based on what we learned and experienced. Like, your brain is literally shaping itself all the time.
And there's a great example given, London taxi drivers. Because they have to memorize this incredibly complex map of streets, studies have shown they have a larger hippocampus, that's the area of the brain involved in memory and spatial awareness, than people who don't drive taxis.
And what's even cooler is that the longer they've been driving, the larger this part of their brain was. It really shows how our brains physically adapt to what we do.
It's like use it or lose it, but for your brain.
Exactly.
Then there's the second brain in our gut, the enteric nervous system. And this one is fascinating. It seems like it has a big influence on our mood and even our behavior.
Yeah, this is an area where scientists are still making lots of discoveries, but it's clear that our gut and our brain are constantly talking to each other. And the bacteria in our gut, the food we eat, it all seems to play a role in how our brain functions.
So eating healthy isn't just good for your body, it's good for your brain too.
Totally. A healthy gut can actually boost your focus and learning abilities.
So with this understanding of our adaptable brains, let's move on to some...
Forget everything.
Not exactly. It's more about approaching new information with an open mind, letting go of any preconceived notions you might have. It's also about acknowledging those distracting thoughts that pop up and just jotting them down quickly so you can let them go and stay focused.
Okay, so clear the mental clutter and be open to new ideas. Got it.
Exactly. Then we have A, which is for act. This one emphasizes that learning isn't a passive activity. To really learn, you have to engage with the material. Take notes, highlight key points, try to connect ideas to real-world examples.
Don't just sit there and expect it to sink in magically.
Right. The more active you are, the better you'll understand and remember what you're learning. Then there's S, which stands for state. This is all about how much our emotional and physical state affects our ability to learn. So before you start a study session, check in with yourself. Are you feeling motivated and energized?
If not, take a few minutes and shift your state. Stretch, breathe deeply, maybe change your posture.
Exactly. A little bit of self-care can go a long way. Next up is T for teach. This one is so cool. The idea is that if you learn something with the intention of teaching it to someone else, you'll learn it at a much deeper level.
I can see that. If you have to explain it clearly, you really have to understand it yourself.
Exactly. Then there's E for enter, and this is about using your calendar as a tool for learning. Actually schedule dedicated time for personal growth, for learning new things.
Don't just squeeze it in whenever you can. Make it a priority.
Exactly. Treat it like an important appointment. And finally, there's R for review. This is about actively recalling what you've learned and using spaced repetition.
So don't just cram everything in at the last minute.
No, review the material multiple times over a few days. That helps move it from short-term to long-term memory.
Makes sense. So faster, forget, act, state, teach, enter, review. I'm going to write that down.
I think it's a really helpful framework. Okay, now let's move on to something even more fundamental, mindset. These are the beliefs we hold about ourselves, what we think we're capable of.
Our mindset really sets the stage for everything else. It influences our motivation, how we deal with challenges, our overall potential.
And the source material talks about different types of genius, expanding beyond that traditional academic view. There's the dynamo genius, all about creativity, like Shakespeare. The blaze genius, who connects with people effortlessly, like Oprah. The tempo genius, big picture focus, like Nelson Mandela. And the steel genius, who's amazing with details, like Sergey Brin.
It's a great reminder that genius comes in many forms. We all have our unique strengths.
For sure. And speaking of limitations, let's talk about overcoming limiting beliefs, those negative thoughts we have about ourselves that hold us back.
Like, I'm not good at math, or I'm too old to learn something new.
Yeah, those kinds of things. And it's not just about feeling good. Having a positive mindset actually has real benefits for our physical and mental health.
It's true. Positive thinking can lower stress levels, improve our immune system, all kinds of good things.
So how do we tackle those limiting beliefs? Well, there's a process outlined, and it uses the analogy of a baby elephant tied to a stake. As the elephant grows up, it becomes strong enough to easily pull up that stake, but it doesn't even try.
Because it's learned to believe it's limited. Wow, that's powerful.
It is. So step one is to name it. Identify that limiting belief. Write it down.
Make it conscious, bring it out into the open.
Exactly. Then step 2 is to get to the facts. Question that belief. Is it really true? What evidence do you have to support it?
It's like putting that belief on trial.
And finally, step 3 is to create a new belief. Challenge that negative self-talk. One suggestion is to give your inner critic a funny name, kind of make fun of it.
It's a great idea. Take away its power.
Right. And then replace those negative thoughts with positive I am statements. I am capable. I am a good learner.
I am limitless.
Love it. And to wrap up this section on mindset, the source material highlights 7 lies about learning, these common misconceptions that we often believe without even realizing it. Things like intelligence is fixed, or we only use 10% of our brains.
We need to replace those lies with more empowering beliefs like intelligence can grow and I am learning to use my whole brain.
It's a powerful shift in perspective. Okay, let's move on to motivation. This is what drives us to take action, to achieve our goals. And it's been defined as having a purpose, the energy to take action, and then actually taking those small steps forward.
That makes sense. Purpose, energy, action.
Right. And there are some common myths about motivation that we need to bust, like the idea that you either have it or you don't, or that you have to enjoy something to be motivated to do it.
Oh, I hear that one all the time. I just don't feel motivated.
Well, the truth is, you might just need a strong enough reason, even if the task itself isn't always fun. Think about stories like The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, that's a great example. Wasn't always enjoyable, but he had a powerful purpose driving him.
Exactly. So purpose is key. And the source material really digs into the why behind our actions. It makes a distinction between passion and purpose. You can be passionate about something, but your purpose might be something different. Like you might be passionate about learning, but your purpose is to teach others.
To share that knowledge, to make a difference.
Right. So it's important to take some time and really reflect on your own why, what truly motivates you at a deep level.
And to really drive that home, those I am statements are powerful here too. I am driven to make a difference. I'm committed to learning and growing.
They can really shift your perspective. And then there's the idea of having a hierarchy of values to guide your choices. What's most important to you? What are you willing to say no to in order to pursue what truly matters?
It's about being intentional with your time and energy. And this is where JOMO comes in the joy of missing out. It's choosing what truly aligns with your values, even if it means missing out on some other things.
It's like FOMO's cooler older sister.
I like that, JOMO. I can remember that.
Now, when it comes to maximizing your energy, the source material highlights 5 key areas: food, exercise, environment, your peer group, and sleep.
The foundations of well-being.
Exactly. It even mentions some top brain-boosting foods like avocados, blueberries, broccoli. Dark chocolate is a brain food.
Apparently so.
I'm in. And regular exercise is key, even just short bursts of activity. Having a tidy and organized workspace helps too, and surrounding yourself with positive, supportive people. And of course, getting enough sleep is crucial.
It's all connected. Your physical health impacts your mental energy and motivation.
And last but not least for motivation, there's the idea of small, simple steps, or S3, tiny actions you can take consistently to build momentum and avoid feeling overwhelmed by big goals.
Break it down, make it manageable. I like that.
It's a great strategy. Okay, moving on to this fascinating concept of flow. It's that state of being completely absorbed in what you're doing, where effort seems to disappear, time flies by.
It's like being in the zone, totally immersed and energized.
Exactly. And there are 8 characteristics often used to describe this state: intense concentration, total focus on your goal, a distorted sense of time, a feeling of reward from the activity itself, a sense of effortlessness, a challenge that's not too easy or too difficult, a sense of automatic action, and an overall feeling of comfort and control.
It sounds amazing, like a peak performance state.
It really is. And there are stages to getting into flow: a struggle phase, then relaxation, then flow, and finally a consolidation phase. But the big question is, how can we tap into that flow state more easily?
Right. How do we find that zone more consistently?
Well, there are some great tips. First, eliminate distractions. That means decluttering your workspace, both physically and digitally.
Even visual clutter can drain your mental energy.
It's true. And make sure you have enough uninterrupted time, ideally around 2 hours, though at least 90 minutes is a good start.
So block out that time in your schedule, protect it.
Yes, make it sacred flow time. And do something you actually enjoy, something you're passionate about.
It's hard to get into flow doing something you hate.
And have clear goals. Know what you want to accomplish during that flow session.
So passion, clarity, and focus. Got it.
Now, there are also 4 enemies of flow to watch out for.
Enemies of flow. Okay, I'm listening.
So number 1, multitasking. Trying to do too many things at once just kills flow. Number 2, Stress. If you're stressed out, it's hard to get into that relaxed, focused state.
Makes sense. What are the other two?
A lack of belief in yourself. If you don't think you can do it, you probably won't. And lastly, the fear of failure or perfectionism. That need to get everything perfect can really block flow.
So to find flow, we need to let go of that need to control everything.
Exactly. Okay, on to the final section, methods. These are the practical tools you can use to live a more limitless life, starting with focus.
Focus is everything.
It really is. There are some great quotes about this from people like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. They all emphasize the importance of focus. And there's a great analogy about how focus is like a magnifying glass concentrating sunlight. It amplifies your efforts.
I love that analogy. It really paints a picture.
Yeah. And the good news is, focus is a skill you can train. One technique for calming a busy mind and improving focus is the 4-7-8 breathing exercise.
I've heard of that one. It's like a mini meditation.
Yeah, it's simple but powerful. You exhale completely, then inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 7, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 8. Repeat that cycle 4 times.
I'm going to try that right now.
Do it. It really works. Okay, so let's talk about study habits. One of the biggest takeaways here is the importance of active recall. That means testing yourself, trying to remember information without looking at your notes.
It's way more effective than just passively rereading.
Way more effective. And then there's spaced repetition. Review the material multiple times. With increasing intervals between sessions, it helps cement it in your long-term memory.
So don't cram, space it out.
Exactly. And pay attention to your physical and mental state while you're studying. Are you comfortable? Are you focused?
Take breaks when you need them, stretch, move around.
Yes, those things matter. And practice active listening. Really focus on what you're hearing. Try to engage with the information.
Be present, not just zoning out.
And take effective notes. Don't just write down everything you hear. Try to capture the main points, put things in your own words, and even add questions about how you can apply the information.
Make your notes work for you.
Right. There are even some less conventional techniques mentioned, like using your sense of smell and listening to Baroque music to enhance memory and concentration.
Really?
Yeah, certain scents can trigger memories, and Baroque music with its specific tempo can actually help create a brainwave state that's ideal for focus.
I'm going to have to experiment with that.
Now, for memory enhancement, there are a few key strategies. Visualization, linking words to images, association, connecting new information to things you already know, using emotions to make information more memorable, and creating stories to memorize sequences. Like for the periodic table, you could imagine hydrogen as a fire hydrant, helium as balloons, lithium as a battery.
That's actually pretty clever.
It is. The source material also touches on speed reading. It identifies common habits that slow us down, like regression, where we reread the same line multiple times, and subvocalization, where we silently say the words in our heads.
I do both of those.
Me too, it's so common. But with practice, we can break those habits. There are techniques like using a finger or pen to guide your eyes, expanding your peripheral vision, and practicing timed reading intervals.
So it's like training your eyes to move more efficiently across the page.
Exactly. And finally, there's a section on mental models and thinking. It introduces the 6 thinking hats as a way to look at problems from different perspectives.
6 different hats. Okay, I'm picturing it literally.
It's a metaphor, of course, but it's a great tool for problem solving. And then there's the idea of 8 intelligences, which helps you understand your own unique strengths. It also covers learning styles, decision-making rules, the power of not-to-do lists, thinking about the long-term consequences of our choices, and the value of exponential thinking, where you aim for 10x improvement rather than just 10%.
It's like upgrading your thinking from linear to exponential.
Exactly. So, to wrap it all up, this deep dive has been a journey through understanding the challenges to our focus, the potential of our brains, and a whole toolkit of techniques for learning, focusing, cultivating the right mindset, and staying motivated.
It's been really eye-opening.
It really has. The key takeaway is that so many of the limits we perceive are self-imposed. By working on our mindset, our motivation, and using these practical tools, we can achieve incredible things.
Don't limit ourselves, truly.
Exactly. So here's a final thought for you to ponder. What's one small step you can take today, based on everything we've discussed, to start unlimiting yourself?
What's one tiny action that could make a big difference?
Think about it. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to like it, share it with someone who might find it helpful, and subscribe for more insights like this.